What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to another weekly edition of our live stream here. Coming to you just an hour later than normal. Just wrapping up the NC State men's basketball season opener against Uptown South Carolina. We are here live, like I said, celebrating a double victory Monday. We'll get into basketball, and then, of course, we'll talk football and then break down a couple other happenings around the world of NC State athletics. So, again, I'm Greg, and joined by Michael Tracy. What's going on, Michael?
What's up? Good weekend.
Good weekend, yeah. Pretty successful. We won a championship over the weekend. Women's cross country individual. We'll talk about that here later in the episode. But let's go ahead and get into the season opener for men's basketball. 97-66 victory over upstate South Carolina, I think is what it, or just upstate, I guess. Just give me your initial thoughts. A lot to be proud of. A lot of, 5 days ago, I think, most State fans would tell you that the sky was falling. So just give me those initial thoughts on the season opener.
Yeah, no, it's a good performance in the first opening game. Banners coming down.
Multi-banners.
Looking at, the team, they just look like a bunch of clones of each other out there.
Yeah.
They all just are long athletic wings. And I think that's exactly perfect for how Keats wants to play, which, he really, last year's team was not like that at all. And so he had to adjust. But I think this set of guys is kind of his preference.
Mm-hmm. And arguably you didn't have your best transfer player, right? So, with Mike James, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mike James still out
from Louisville. Yeah, so he's gonna be out for a few weeks. Welcome, Breon Pass.
Yeah.
Question mark.
He's
14 points. I think new career high.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be a factor this year more. This is his 4th year. He's stuck it out.
Being rewarded, right?
Yeah.
He definitely he's always one of those kind of glue guys. He doesn't get a lot of playing time the last couple of years, spot, either a start here or, having to fill in for someone injured or coming in, with foul trouble. But to your point, right, he's just stuck it out and just been grinding. And I think we're in store for some good stuff from him. But let's just talk about some of the new guys that came in tonight. I was impressed by Marcus Hill. Had a killer second half.
Yeah, he really turned it on in the second half, and he showed exactly why.
Yeah,
the coaches brought him in. He can just his moves to get to the bucket it's crazy. It's something we haven't had in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe Sebron was the last guy who could just
Yeah.
take the ball and get it to the hoop like that. I mean,
Yeah. Very
you know,
shifty.
yeah. Still first game, so
Yeah.
we'll see
Yeah. I
how
mean,
he
that's temper
continues. But
expectations, right? Yeah.
yeah,
It's not a loss. I mean, if you watch the game, you just saw that Keats is 52-1 at home against non-conference opponents. So that probably needs to, be all you kind of need to know. But guys just kind of did their thing tonight. Middlebrooks, quiet 10. He had some stretches there. He had like a 5-point stretch there.
yep.
Actually, I think it
10
was
and
4
10.
because they
Double.
double. And I think that's just what you want from Ben Middlebrooks. Mike O'Connell just doing O'Connell things.
Yep.
Hitting 3 of 6. And 2 for 4 from the 3-point line. So just what you would expect there. Jaden Taylor locked down some defense and gave you 8 points. You probably want a little bit more from him offensively, but that's again, first game of the season. And then Styles, he came out and had 9 quick ones in the first half, but kind of was quiet in the second half. So
Yeah.
just kind of give me your thoughts on these transfers that we brought in.
Yeah, Styles was impressive early. He got his 9 points and he finished with 9. Looks like
Yeah.
because he got into a little bit of foul trouble, but yeah, he was definitely the go-to guy in the first couple minutes. I think in that 4 position in Keats' offense, obviously outside of last year, has always been the big guard kind of guy, and that guy usually has success. I mean, whether CJ Bryce, Torrin Dorn, those guys have usually been pretty good players for Keats there. So I think Styles could be in for a big year. Talked about Marcus Hill. Who else?
How about this number for you? 33 bench points.
Yeah.
I mean,
team's gonna be deep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna be a big thing. Huntley, Hatfield had what did he have, like 13, 14 points, I think?
13 points, 4 rebounds. He also had a little bit of foul trouble, but
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be a team that doesn't have a lot of front court. So they're gonna, definitely rely on the three guards and then the more of a power forward kind of guy at center, and then kind of a swing guy at the 4, like you were saying, a bigger guard. But I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to pull up some stats here because defense, like they mentioned it on the broadcast. By the way, Casey Morsell on the broadcast. That was new, right? That's a little different.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it's first time.
Yeah, first time. Yeah. I thought he did a good job. For a guy, it's funny because you see a Casey Morsell, and we've had him on the channel at least once or twice, and I've had the pleasure of talking to him a few times. For a real shy, reserved guy, I thought he did a really good job. He's not one of those vocal guys, but he did a nice job tonight, especially for his first time out. But the steals, we had 9 steals on the game, and the number that I wanted to look at, and I'm looking at it now, blocks, 8 blocks. That's a good number. Turnovers were a problem a little bit. They cleaned them up in the second half though.
Yeah, I think at one point we had like 7 turnovers to their 3, but look, ended the game 11 to their 17. So really turned up the defense the second half.
Yeah, and looking at the points off turnovers, a lot of ours were kind of not like fast break points on the turnovers. We had 27 points off turnovers. They only had 4, so a lot of dead ball. Had we had some offensive fouls, which cost a couple things, and then I know one that O'Connell kind of dribbled it out of bounds. So those are turnovers that you can live with. I mean, they're not forced turnovers, but them not scoring, you can eat those a little bit more. The fouls were a problem still. We loved to foul for whatever reason. We had 24 fouls in the game. But largest lead was 33.
It comes with the type of defense that Keats plays. He plays a lot of full court, 3/4 court pressure. So it's just kind of something you gotta live with, and hopefully you're forcing enough turnovers to make up for the difference in those fouls.
Yeah. I think I don't know. The biggest number that I'm looking at here that you hope gets cleaned up really quickly is the free throw shooting, 57%.
That's something that
Um,
is easily
yeah,
correctable.
yeah. 33% from 3-point. You know, you can live with that. You like maybe a couple points higher, but I mean, we're nitpicking. We won by
Of course.
33 points. But again, you have to consider the competition. You know, it's going to get much tougher. I honestly, I think this is probably going to be Keats's most difficult non-conference schedule since he's been here. I don't think that's even. I don't even. I mean, I know we played in Atlanta a few years ago. There was some good competition there.
Yeah.
But I think overall, this is probably going to be his most competitive non-conference schedule. So it's gonna ramp up pretty quickly.
Yeah, which that's exciting. I mean, gives you some more big games to look forward to earlier.
Yeah.
You know, and you really don't. And it's not like it. The way it's been scheduled, there's usually one, maybe two big non-conference games, and that's tough because you have to win those, right?
Right.
I think this year you've got at least 4 or 5, you know, other P4 teams on the schedule. So, you know, if you go 2-2, you're sitting good right there.
Yeah.
For the first couple.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at the schedule real quick. You know, we got the next 4 kind of sleepers, and then you go out. I think it's out in San Diego where we're going to play Purdue. So that's your first test, and then you're right back home right after that to play Texas in the SEC ACC challenge, which is still a new thing.
The in San Diego we play the Ole Miss or BYU.
Yeah. So
that's one of those two, depending on the matchups.
Yeah, depending on who wins and loses. But so that'll be a quality opponent, and then like I said, you have Texas.
Yeah,
and then you'll play an ACC game, and then you got you have the Heritage game, and then you go right to Kansas. So you're gonna really know by the time conference play really gets going what you're going to be looking at for, you know, what you're going to have to do. We were kind of joking at the end of the game before we went live that you saw guys still, you know, actively scoring, and we were talking about, you know, just the net. Like you have to win for the net, especially when you have a home game where, you know, you're playing upstate, and there's no. You need kind of quote unquote bonus points to really make that win stick and be a quality win in quotations, even though you're playing upstate.
Yeah, it's not so much about the actual point differential, but it's more about your efficiency, like offensive and defensively, and you know that kind of goes hand in hand with point
you kind of wanted them to get to 100, just you know. Just because you get some more metrics kicking in, and you know, it's fine.
More points per possession, and
it doesn't help you to eat the ball and be good sportsmen now. Like it encourages you to throttle your opponent. But hey, that's the world we live in, and you know. Go ahead.
The thing about this team, though, you know, you really only have two. You really only got 2 walk-ons, I'm thinking, with Keith Jr. and Jordan Snell.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're still playing the 3 of your guys who are in the rotation. So it's not like you're totally giving up at the end of the game and putting all 5 scrubs in. Like there's still enough, which I think is good because those 2 guys, it gets those 2 guys in the game. But, you know, still the majority of your guys out there are guys who are already in the rotation. So you can still kind of pad that score a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I guess kind of give me. I know. I think at some point, I think maybe we're gonna do a basketball preview. But just kind of give me your overall thoughts on not only this game, but you know, moving forward. You know, give me a 1-minute elevator pitch, and just kind of give me what your expectations are here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good first game. It's exactly kind of what you wanted to see. But you know, I think it may take a little bit of time to really figure out the rotations, and there's going to be a lot of why isn't this guy playing? Why isn't that guy playing? And it's like, because you got 11 guys that can really play anytime. Like the freshmen, all 3 freshmen were pretty impressive at points in this game. So they're going to push for playing time. So, which is it's a good problem to have. But I think it still may take some time to really figure out who your go-to guys are and really feel like State's in a good spot. They know who their guys are, and I won't be surprised to see some of that be an issue in these early, like we said, in these early non-conference tests. It may be rotations may look weird. It's just kind of the nature of the transfer portal with reload.
So speaking of that, so of the 15 roster people, we have 8 returners and 7 newcomers. Or was it the other way around? I think it's
other way.
They had 7 returners and 8 newcomers. Yeah, because you had 5 transfers and 3 freshmen. Yeah, that's right. And so you're speaking of the freshmen. You had McNeil, Trey Parker, and then Hurd. So like you said, they all flashed at times, but McNeil getting some points late in the game off some free throws, and then he hit a 3-pointer, and then Hurd had 8 points. He looked very athletic, and
I think they said on the broadcast in the whole country he's like the 4th youngest player because he reclassed up a year, but he at least he was good in the exhibition too.
His body frame,
2 games, but
his frame looks ready. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He didn't look like undersized. He didn't need, he didn't look like he needed to eat a sandwich or anything. Like the weight room's been pretty good for him. And then the other, and so there's your 3 freshmen. And then you got guys like Dennis Parker Jr., he's not a freshman per se, but he had moments last year where he played, but then he had gotten sick, and so he
played well.
Basically, he had defensively, he made a couple nice plays, and so there's a lot of optimism. I think that's probably the key word, right? Is you don't want to take away too much from these early games, unless you're playing a highly ranked opponent, because this is just a game. It's just hard to get a measuring stick of this is a team that you should go out and beat by 30, and that's exactly what they did. It was close until about probably 10 minutes or so in the first half, and then they went on a run, and then they just never really looked back. So I thought they went out and did what they needed to do. So all right, well, we'll wrap on that for basketball, and like I said, there's going to be plenty more basketball talk. This is the first of many games that we're going to be talking about, and then of course the women tip off tomorrow night. They'll do their banner ceremonies over at Reynolds, so that'll be good to see. I have a pair of tickets that we'll figure out how to give them away, but we'll get some people to that ceremony if you're following us. So I'll talk with Leighton tonight, and we'll figure out how to do a little something. But all right. Well, let's shift gears to football. Hey, did you know we have a 2-game winning streak now in football? Our first winning streak of the season, and it felt good. Did you? I know you were in town for a wedding. Did you make it to the game on Saturday?
No, I didn't. I didn't make it, but I was able to watch most of it before we had to head out. And
had to do your wedding
duties. But it was. I mean, that's as good as the offense has looked in a long time. Time.
Yeah, over multiple years,
59 points. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's
the most. Yeah. What
I was gonna say, the second most under Dave Doran, and then the most ever in an ACC game. That's 72 years. No, so excuse me, 71 years. So the ACC was founded in 1953, I believe it was 53 or 54. And State's a charter member of the ACC, and it took Stanford coming into the ACC in year 1 to break that record, and 59 points. So that's an impressive showing. I think that from start to finish, State made a statement, and that this was the team that we were waiting for all season. We finally got that in game 9. What we thought we would have earlier on in the season. So just kind of give me your initial thoughts, and I'll give you mine here, because they scored 28 points, Stanford did, but I'll give you a case to where I think they've only should have scored in 7. So go ahead and give me your initial thoughts, and then I'll give you mine.
Yeah. I mean, start with the defense. I mean, like it is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
9 games into the season, the
Yeah.
run defense is just not great at all.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're not really gonna fix that at this point. I think you try and mitigate it as much as possible. But if your offense is gonna play like they did, then that's okay. And I think that's kind of what a lot of people were expecting coming into the year.
Mhm.
And with McCall, it never just really clicked. I mean, he had a tough between the injuries and just the early season. He's the Tennessee game and just never really came together for him. And then you're throwing a true freshman in, and that's kind of to be expected that it might take a few games. But man, Bailey has really, really improved. He was, 18 of 20, 3 touchdowns. It's
one
crazy.
of the most efficient games ever by an NC State quarterback.
Yeah.
And you go look back at that list of NC State quarterbacks, and for someone that had 20 attempts, he completed 90% of his passes. 90% of his passes he completed. Like that's just an insane number to even think about. And like they weren't just like dinking and dunking. I mean, he was throwing down the field.
How many total yards did he end up with? Do you have that?
I think 234 was the number in my head. I don't know if that's exactly right. Let me see. But 234, boom! Look at that!
Look at that!
Look at that! I remembered something. Yeah. So 18. I mean, that's over 10 yards a completion.
Right.
And run game. We have a running game, guys. We have a running game. Both Waters and Hollywood, just did their thing, and
they had. They were just breaking tackles all over the place. Like, I think they had doubled the amount of broken tackles than we had in any game before.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes that's the difference between a good running game and a bad. And it's just like you just got to make somebody miss sometimes. And right on that Waters 94, 95-yard touchdown, he broke 2 tackles. One would have stopped him at the line of scrimmage, and then one would have been 9 or 10 yards, would have been a good run, a first down. But and again, I think that's what you expected more of from him earlier. But
and the offensive line takes a beating.
Yeah,
and we won't. Again, we're not going to get into that today. But if a running back makes a cut, breaks a tackle, he goes for 94 yards, you automatically go, great blocking. You know what I mean? Or so it's not always fair to give them the praise or the negativity about that. So, but just a really good job. Go ahead.
Yeah, this game it was 280 something rushing yards. I think did we get to 280? Yeah,
281 as a team. Yep.
Right, and like I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, I mean it was a good job obviously by the offensive line. They got to open up the holes, but I think that 280 came more on because of how the running backs performed as opposed to the offensive line was just killing everybody, which they were on a couple plays, of course, but
we didn't scheme differently. I mean, we went out there and did, again, you're 9 games into it. You're not changing too many things here at this point. And so it does take a collective effort. It's it's 11 on 11 football. So, you got to go up and, put a body on somebody and, do your job. And if everyone does their job together, you're going to have good positive results. And, that showed on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of optimism for the rest of the season. I mean, it's Stanford. We know it's just Stanford, but we struggled with Western Carolina at points, NIU, Louisiana Tech. So I mean, this is a P4 team. So, and you put up 59 on them. So
and guess what? Go ahead.
It just makes you a little more optimistic for the rest of the season when it looked like, are we even going to make a bowl? I mean, I always thought we would make a bowl, but to get there now, you're 1 win away and you got 3 games left.
It's a lot easier to go get 1 out of 3 than 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4, whatever you had put yourself in whatever position you put yourself in. So Carson, our own Carson, is in the chat. He's not joining us live tonight. He was covering the basketball game for the technician. So definitely will be interested to get his thoughts over the next couple of days, and then of course next probably week. But he goes, the run defense played great. The main weakness was the quarterback runs, and that's mainly on the linebackers, not the defensive line. Fun game tonight. We have never lost a game in the Lenovo Center. True story. True story. Hang the banner. Undefeated in the Lenovo Center. So those quarterback runs, I kind of wanted to get into that because that was kind of my argument for the points that we gave up. I wrote some notes down here. So in that, for those two runs by Daniels, on the first one, number 84, I don't know if you noticed, but he grabbed Fitzgerald's face mask, and it prevented Fitzgerald from making a play. So that was a completely missed call. Now he would have still had a big run. Don't get me wrong, but that shouldn't have been a touchdown. But here's the thing: like, we were in the wrong defense to begin with. Like, on 3rd and 21, there's no reason why a quarterback should run a quarterback draw for 68 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah,
like, that's just,
there had to have been some miscommunication on that, and because I think we went cover 0 or cover 1 all out blitz, and it was like, what are you gonna, why?
And so you're blitzing, so he runs right up the middle, and then there's no defenders because they all have their backs turned, running past the fence routes.
I think there was an issue with the play call on that one more.
And then on the second touchdown, number 13, there was a really bad hold on DK Kaufman. In fact, he was pulling his jersey. Like, you could see like his jersey was being
I noticed that one. But that was one. I think he tried to sell it a little bit too. Like, the quarterback was already past him when he was trying to sell it. So I don't.
It's probably a fair point. But and then of course they got the garbage touchdown in the fourth quarter. So you could make arguments. Again, we gave up some big plays to Carson's point, but it wasn't as bad as it seemed. And so that's kind of where I kind of wanted to go with those. But hey, Davin Van. Just doing Davin Van things, set the tone early.
Man, he's so good.
Yeah, he just doesn't get no respect. He gets no respect. He's like the Johnny Danger, or Rodney Danger.
I think I saw he now leads the country in forced fumbles with 5, which is
it was such a good play too, because I mean, he came from the blind side and he just naturally went smacked his paw down and it just got it clean. So
I think that's how most of them have been, just him coming on the blind side of the QB and just knocking it out. Yeah,
just a really, really hard-nosed play by him. Just want to talk a little bit about team stats here. 3rd down, 6 of 10. Like, come on. One punt the whole game. Like, Newcastle, got a free day. Got to work on his tan a little bit. So that was nice. 525 plus yards of total offense. That's getting it done.
How many plays did we run? Do you have that?
I don't. Here's the best part. So first quarter, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, punt, and then that was one. Like, we scored on our first 9 possessions of the game, and we could have had touchdowns on all of them. We just couldn't get it done on that 3rd possession, the first possession of the second quarter. We got it down to, I think, like the 1 and 1.5 yard line, and just couldn't punch it in.
Yeah.
But Colin Smith came in for a field goal, which, by the way, I'm going to give my shout out and get the name right this time, unlike 2 weeks ago or whenever. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I don't think I was on last week. Colin Smith was his first collegiate points of his career, 6 years into it. So, he.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he handled all
for sure. I know he's always done kickoffs, but I thought for sure he had made a field goal.
Nope, not that was not. I was tracking that he hadn't, but if I could be wrong, but I think those were his first points of his career. He was perfect on all of the extra points, and then he had the 1 field goal. So
good for him.
Good for him, right? And he's a guy that came back. He was going to transfer out, and then he decided to come back for his final year. So another guy that was rewarded for sticking it out. And from what I understand, it was plantar fasciitis for gosh dang it, I can never get his name right.
Mindset.
Fine-Set, thank you. That's what I didn't see. Did you catch Doran's press conference today at all? I don't know if they talked about that today, but I
I
read it on one of
skimmed
the
it.
boards.
I don't think he said what it was, but
Yes. So someone on one of the boards, so take it for what you want. It was
yeah.
plantar fasciitis in his plant foot. So not able to necessarily confirm that, but that's I guess the rumor mill on that. But just we go ahead.
I wanted to shout out DK Kaufman for
Yeah.
the kick returns he had.
Woo! He was
Man,
good. He was good.
that was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had like 3 good ones.
3. Yeah, he started the game, right? I think he got up like the
Mhm.
45-yard line, 40,
Yeah.
45-yard line. And then he had another one to like the 30, 35-yard line. And then he broke that one. Like he went 94 yards and didn't get a touchdown. Like that's
I
like,
know.
and if you I watched it back last night after being there on Saturday. He comes and goes like this much, like this close.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, that was just it was man. He's such a. I mean, look, we talk about transfer portal finds, and he's definitely been a good one. He's probably been one of the better ones for us this year.
Mhm.
You have
Probably the well, let me think.
definitely the best on defense. I think that's
That's what I was
probably
thinking.
safe to
Best on
say.
defense.
Yeah, I think
Offense,
that's definitely,
you got a couple guys. Jolie.
yeah, Jolie, and then
Some others. Well,
yeah, Zeke, Carell.
Zeke.
Yeah.
Zeke probably underrated. He's been the best.
Yeah, he just doesn't.
Obviously,
Yeah,
as a
he just
lineman.
Yeah, he just doesn't get the love, right? But he's gone out and doing his thing. Another like honorable mention is Morsell. Like Marshall's been really good.
Yep. Had another pick.
Yeah. So and just
He's got
slow and
another
steady.
year.
He does.
Too.
Yeah.
He can come back. So I think Kaufman's done. But
Does Grimes have another year? Like I heard someone saying that he does have a year.
Yeah, Wesley
I don't know
Grimes.
why. I only thought he only had this year. Wow. So that so there's still lots of room in the wide receiver room. So I kind of want to talk about CJ Bailey a little bit. You kind of mentioned it and alluded to it a little bit earlier that he just keeps getting better every week.
Right.
And you talked about like I was seeing a tweet by David Hale, and he was kind of comparing Florida State and NC State. Kind of how did you see that tweet by chance?
Yeah.
He kind of like dinged us a little bit, like
it was kind of a shot, but kind of not.
Correct, right? And so
it was more of a shot at Florida State.
yeah. I mean, let me see if I can find it real quick.
He's not wrong though, but
he's not, and which kind of makes me even more mad, right? That let me see. We don't have tweets of the week this week, guys, so I apologize. So here's the tweet. He goes, actually, he tweets a lot.
he does.
When did he say this? Dang it. I wish. Why do I not see it? It should have been from today. He was basically talking about how bad Florida State is, and that that they're not going to fire Mike Norvell at this point. Oh, all right, here we go. He goes, "Let me preface this by saying that while staff and personnel changes are obviously needed, firing Mike Norvell after he won 23 games the past 2 years is not just a dumb idea, but it's utterly ridiculous. Having said that, the biggest indictment of this team / staff isn't the 1-8 record necessarily. Bad years happen and it can snowball. But look at NC State. O-line was a mess, which I don't really agree with that. But
I think we just played some really good defenses in Clemson and Tennessee.
I mean, Clemson and Tennessee are pretty quality teams, but I digress. Let's see. Starting transfer quarterback went down with concussions. Bad early losses doomed high expectations. I guess when he says bad early losses, I don't think it's the losses. I think it's how you lost. Maybe again.
Wake. I think Wake and Syracuse.
Yeah. And then
if we didn't lose those games, we'd be sitting 7-2 right now, and still pretty good. So
having a completely different discussion.
Those were the bad losses.
Yeah,
which I agree they were bad.
And then he goes, and NC State still isn't good, and he kind of puts it like in stars. What I think kind of means like quotations. And 2024 disappointed, but they're 5-4, likely to get a bowl, having won 3 of 5 with both of the losses by a touchdown or less, and having developed a really solid true Frosh quarterback. CJ Bailey's last 5 games, 71 completions, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 7.5 yards per dropback. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. He's even better. CJ's even better in the red zone. Like that's he's taking care of the ball. I think that's the biggest thing, right? That to the point of what David Hale is saying is this season, because you had DJU with his quote unquote thumb. All right. So, he had their transfer quarterback went down, but he didn't go down until later. But this season could have just gone down the crapper really quickly. But,
you're right.
But, give credit to the coaching staff and CJ Bailey just stepping up and doing things as a freshman that you probably didn't expect. The first thing I will say is if we had to play CJ Bailey, our season was going to be in trouble, right? And it could have been really
from the beginning.
Trouble. Yeah. And that was kind of the biggest argument. And look, the coaching staff looks kind of smart now having brought in another quarterback. I don't know if that's necessarily how you wanted to play out, but it has.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, it's just not a realistic scenario that you're going to roll into the season with CJ Bailey as your starting QB. I mean, they had enough confidence in him to go in and be the backup, which obviously we're seeing why. Yeah. But I mean, sure, you could make the argument they start him from game one, but that's just you're in the same scenario after the first 4 games, more than likely, and it's even a worse discussion on how can you roll into the season with a true freshman QB. But I mean, like David Hill was saying, it's like at least you can use this season to just keep building on something, your bottom hasn't fallen out of the program like it has at Florida State. And
I mean, where does that program go? Where does that, I mean, like
they go back to the transfer portal. That's where they go and try and replicate what they did in 2023.
But there's your argument, right? This is the argument where you're gonna obviously hit some and you're not gonna hit some. But when you're putting, it seems like Florida State's, so NC State's bread and butter is recruit, develop, put them out there, let them do their thing, right? It's a process where Florida State just seems more intent on bringing dudes in. Hopefully they hit more than they don't, and you have a successful season. And so you're seeing the two extremes of that. Like State's brought in some transfers, not in key skill positions, but they're not relying solely on the transfer portal. I feel like we've. And look, and we don't follow Florida State like we follow NC State, but like it just sure feels like those guys are quitting. I just they've got talent, but for whatever reason, Norvell's not able to keep them together.
Yeah, they have, and it's not just like kind of above average talent. Like they get the best of the best, and it's just like it's kind of unfathomable how they can be that. This bad this year.
Historically bad. Like it's historically bad.
Yeah. Like 1-7. Their ACC season is over. They're 1-7. But 1-7 in the ACC.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
They're already done with their conference schedule.
They're not even making a bowl game. Like
nope.
They can't get bowl eligible at this point. So you were essentially one game away from the college football playoff last year to not even making a bowl. Like that's historically bad. Preseason top 10. All the aspirants. So I'm saying all this is it's not that bad at NC State. Like we can still get to 9 wins. Like we could still win this thing out and get to 9 wins, which would because here's the thing. Go ahead.
It's a disappointing season. You didn't reach your goal, and that's it. Like there's no way around that given the expectation and kind of hopes coming into the year. But if you can still keep that level of where your bad seasons and your disappointing seasons are 8 wins, maybe 9 wins, like that's a great place to be. Like
We're still one of only 4 programs that have won 8 or more games in the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years, whatever that stat was.
Yeah.
It's
So it's not easy to do that year in and year out, which seems like some people think it is. Like, oh, that's just mediocre. Like to do it continually, and now we got to get there. I mean, we're still got 3 games left, but
absolutely. But I feel better. I mean, again, I know it's been Cal and Stanford, not the world beaters of the ACC.
Cal's better than the record, I will say. Stanford,
and we talked about that.
Stanford's pretty bad.
Yeah, but at this point, you
we
have
destroyed it. So I don't think it's unreasonable to think State can win at least 2 out of the last 3. I think Georgia Tech, that one. I mean, we talked about that one in the beginning of the year. It's a tough game. I think it's going to be hard.
But do you feel better? Is Hayes King back? Is he going to be back?
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a big question mark. Yeah, without him, I feel way better.
It's completely different, right? And at that point, so this weekend we have Duke coming in. They've lost their last 2 games. Now, granted, they've come back down to earth, having played SMU and Miami. We kind of thought that this was going to happen. Yeah. So they're still, and Leighton brought it up a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. You look at Duke's schedule, like it's a nice little story. They've won, they're 6-3, but they haven't beaten anybody. Like they're arguably their best win is probably going to be Georgia Tech.
Yeah. I mean, their only losses are to some of the best teams in the conference, but they also haven't really, beaten anybody. Georgia Tech. So I don't know. Their Duke's defense is definitely good. Malik Murphy really does not scare me as a QB. Again, it's going to be at this point. It's going to come down to can our offense, like Duke, will probably hit some big plays, some big runs, because that's happened in almost every single game.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I said it wrong. They lost to Georgia Tech, so that's not even their best win. So I apologize for cutting you off. I don't even know what their best win is. Like Carolina,
yeah.
I mean, it has to be. That's the only. That's the
20
only,
down.
I mean, yeah, and they beat Northwestern, but they did that in 2 overtimes. So, Northwestern's. I mean, I don't even know what Northwestern's record is. I mean,
it's just going to be interesting because I feel like Duke's either played teams that are worse than us, as we are right now.
Yeah,
like way worse than us, or they played teams that are better than us, clearly better than us, and they've lost those games. So it's like I don't know. I think this is going to be a good matchup to see where State really is, because
against the rest of the league. Yeah,
right. We started 0-3 in the ACC, so we're sitting at the bottom of the conference. But I don't think we're truly ever that bad.
No, I'm looking at like Eric McLean, and I love him. Like he's a great dude, but like, come on, man. Like where he has us ranked, and I'm like, bro, we're
his power rankings.
Yeah, his power rankings. I don't know. Like,
did he do them? I haven't looked. Did he do them?
Yeah, he didn't even move. Like he didn't even. I mean, I know we beat. I know we beat Stanford. I get it. but we're trending in the right direction. That's kind of where my point is at this point. Is
right.
Like.
And I think that and it wasn't like a close game against Stanford. Like we dominated them. That should, right? If we're gonna get dinged for barely winning against Western Carolina, barely winning against Northern Illinois, then we should get, if we're talking power, like his power rankings, which this is all kind of irrelevant, but
yeah. I mean, they're fun to talk about, right? I mean, it gives us something to talk about for 2 minutes on the podcast tonight.
But you got to get at least some credit. Oh, I see. Okay, so he didn't move us up from 14.
Yeah.
And
again, but you look at his, you look at his, here we go. Let me just see what he has, because, like, I give him credit. He moved Louisville up a few spots. So like. That's good, and at least he moved him above Clemson. So he keeps it real. I will give him that much. But you're telling me that UVA is better than State?
Yeah, and Boston College, like, no chance. Not after this week.
And I can't argue weight because they beat us head to head. Even though but you're saying Virginia Tech's 8? Like, they're going in the wrong direction. They just blew a 21-3 lead.
I didn't even see the end of that game. I was surprised when I saw they lost.
Yeah, that was a slow bleed out by Virginia Tech the other day. So, like, I probably don't have a problem with this top 7. I think Duke's high. Duke's too high. Come on, Eric.
He's got him still at 6. I think we start gaining a little bit more respect with the win over Duke, which I think is very possible.
Yeah, UNC at 10. Eric.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Like, we're gonna play Georgia Tech.
We played 3. Yeah, we played 3 guys ahead of us.
So we're gonna have our chance. We'll revisit this in a couple of weeks. We like to keep the receipts, but yeah, I don't know. Like, we're gonna have, like, I think Malik Murphy is gonna be a problem for us. I really do. He's a mobile quarterback, and Daniels just ran for the most yards in Stanford history as a quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't know. He doesn't scare me. Their defense scares me a little bit. Their defense, it's Manny Diaz.
Manny Diaz has great defense.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a real test for CJ Bailey again. See how much he's, he looked great this week. Can he continue it against an actual, solid defense?
Well, and that's the thing too, is you got Manny Diaz. He's got to disguise things, and I think this is going to probably be other than CJ's first start against Clemson. I think this is going to probably be his toughest test, and that he's going to face a formidable defense and a defensive-minded coach he's going to do some things. And so we're going to have to be ready for, all kinds of weirdness come Saturday, which is going to be senior day and military appreciation day at Carter Finley. So this will be the last home game of the season. And
it's a little bit early.
It's really early. Yeah.
November, mid-November.
Yeah. The first weekend of November, we'll be done with our home slate, which is wild. Like, I just can't believe that tailgating is done for us this weekend, which is kind of bittersweet. But
it's just the way because the Georgia Tech game is Thursday night. So when they've done that, they try to give you a bye the week before, so you're not playing on a short week.
Yeah, you kind of get a bye, and then you get a mini bye, and then you'll have the wrap up with Carolina, the
2 away game.
Yeah.
So I just want to see. I want to see us get to that 8-win number, whether that's regular season or bowl win, because I feel like that is.
Well, that was Vegas's number, right? 8.5 was Vegas.
8.5, but regular season. So
that
would be winning out to get close.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I just think, I think there's something to that, to be consistent in your, like I said it earlier, in your down years when you're winning 8 games, in your bad years, okay, your program's in a good spot.
I get it. Like we had bigger aspirations. And
that's not to say, I'm not saying
but you should have
getting 8 wins is a successful season, right? It's obviously still disappointing. We didn't reach the goal, but I think having.
I mean, how many teams are not winning 8 games?
Right. When they're bad years, when your bad years,
don't get me wrong. We're still disappointed, right? I don't want to minimize that. Oh, hey, we're happy with 8 wins. No, you should never be happy with that. You should always want to take it up another level. And I just think that, look, Coach Doran has to do that at some point. 8 wins, 9 wins it's cute, it's nice, but we just went through a year where we won a bunch of championships, and we want to see that the football program take that next step. So I think that you want it to happen.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between your best years, your best teams getting 8 wins, 8 to 9 wins, and then your bad teams, your worst years getting to 8 wins, which I think a lot of people would consider this a bad year, and you're still winning 8 games. Yeah,
which bad year as far as on the field, results, not talent wise. So I think there is a difference there as well. There's where you didn't meet expectations, you still won 8 games. I think that's probably a better way to take that. But I guess I don't know where I was going to go with this next thought. But What do you got? I'm drawing a. It's late here. It's 10 o'clock. Actually, it's 10 o'clock, but it's really like 11 o'clock because we just did this
Yeah,
whole
I
daylight
know.
savings time.
I'm
So
trying.
bro, I'm getting old, man. I'm like 47 years old. Like I'm getting past bedtime. But what what else we kind of want to talk
What
about a
else?
little bit?
You shouted out at the beginning, track and field ACC
Yeah,
championship
yeah, cross
or
country and
cross country, not track and
yeah,
field,
yeah, the
cross
men
country.
finished 7th, and
Yeah.
for the first time in a long time, the women did not win the overall team championship. They finished 5th. But um, I know her first name's Gracie, and I'm just tired, and I apologize, everyone that's all 10 of you that are probably watching us right now. But um, Gracie's last name? Oh, actually, I just had it right here. Hold on.
I had it pulled up. Where'd it go?
Gracie, um, there it is right here. Gracie Hartman. So she
There you
finishes
go.
first. So that is the tweet. And again, we don't have tweets of the week, but School of Champions, NC State cross country runners have won the last 6 individual ACC championships. So that streak does still continue. The team
Yep.
portion did come to an end. But when you've added the likes of Stanford and other programs have gotten starting to catch up a little bit with NC State. It's we have a lot of younger runners too, but still winning an individual championship. That's a great thing. Um, volleyball was a mixed bag this weekend. I kind of watched the game yesterday on TV. I don't know. Did you watch any of that? They
No, I saw it on. We had it on, but we were
Yeah.
also traveling.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Because your wedding was up here. So we got swept by Boston College, but we were up in the first 2 sets significantly. I wasn't able to watch the third set, so I couldn't tell you. But they swept Friday night. I think they beat, who was it? Wasn't Clemson. It was
Volleyball.
Syracuse. They beat Syracuse on Friday. They swept them 3-0.
One of those orange teams.
Yeah, one of those orange teams. So they swept them, so that was nice. But then they got turn around and got swept by a bad Boston College team. Like, I mean, they're a decent team, but they were like 10-13 coming into the match. So that's one you want to win, especially when you're trying to compete for an at-large bid. As they are, they're hovering around 30, 37, 38 years old, and so you kind of needed that one. That's a bad loss, but again, they were up in the first 2 sets significantly and just couldn't close out sets. And so you want to finish strong. They have another couple of weeks left before the regular season comes to a close, so you still have a few opportunities to get your resume right. But that's one, if we don't make the tournament, we're gonna look back on and go, let one slip there.
Yeah. Especially like volleyball. I mean, it's a tough tournament to make. I think we had one of our best years.
Yeah.
In a while last year, and didn't make it. So a little disappointing on that one.
Yeah, I mean, still time.
Yep.
Let me see. Did men's? I didn't see anything about men's soccer this weekend.
They played Wake in the regular season finale. I think sometime last week. I don't know if that was before a live stream.
They lost 1-0.
Yeah. Wake's always got a strong program though. But I mean, the season as a whole,
now
his first year, just it's been crazy how good he's been.
Yeah, so we enter the ACC tournament as the 8th seed. We'll play 9 seed Virginia, and then if we win that, we're lucky enough to draw number 1 Pitt. So, yeah, that's okay. We'll see how that works, but most likely are secure in the big field, which is good. And we were entering. We were number 12 last week, so I haven't seen any new rankings. I don't know when those drop, but we're in for potential host of the NCAA tournament, so we'll see where that happens. I think selection is this upcoming weekend or next weekend. I can't remember, but so Diana Schneider got a win, a championship yesterday.
Another one?
Yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
won in, I think it was an Asian country, if I'm memory. I
She's
told you I'm
been
tired.
really good. I mean,
Yeah, she should be. They said with the win, she should be number 13 in the world when the next
yeah.
rankings come out, which is incredible to think about. This time last year, she was still at. Wait, was she still at state?
No, 2 years
No,
ago.
no, no, no. We're past. Yeah, we're past the year because it was in the spring. So, but this time last year, she was in like the 70s or 80s
Yeah,
ranking, and she's all the way up to 13 now. So that's an
I,
impressive
yeah.
jump.
I think she got to the quarterfinals in Wimbledon, I want to say.
That feels like that was about the number. I want to
Lost.
say, yeah.
Um, she's
Yeah,
fun to watch, though. Yeah.
yeah. I know we talked about it earlier, but I want to acknowledge Chilton's message here that CBS Sports quarterback power rankings has CJ at number 6, which is just impressive for a true freshman.
And that was for the whole country for last week
Yeah.
too. That wasn't just ACC. So, yeah, he's definitely getting some early recognition, man.
Yeah. I guess I want to have a little bit of fun for the last couple of minutes we have here, kind of just stay on the CJ Bailey train.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you probably know where I'm going to go with this, because it's kind of been the topic of X and fan boards and all of that stuff, and Facebooks and all of that. CJ Bailey, what's he worth to you? And are you selling the farm if you have to keep him? Because if you're reading the tea leaves, it's either him or KC, right? And look, we have no inside information here. We're just kind of having a fun conversation. If you had to make the choice, all right, if it comes down to CJ or KC, and this isn't because you like one over the other or anything like that, who are you taking?
I mean, I think you keep the quarterback. I think that's any. I think that
right.
I think you take the player names out of it. I think you take the quarterback. But
correct.
Yeah, I think agree. I don't know. It's just hard to say without knowing exactly how much guys get and
how much you guys get, what position each player gets, and what is our budget like? Because you hear all these numbers out there, right? Yeah,
I don't know. I would, for one player, even if you really love that player, like, I don't know, more than 20% of your overall budget. I don't know. It's just hard to say without knowing the real numbers, but I think you got to keep him, do as much as you can to keep him.
Yeah, and here's my argument. I think why you would keep, and again, if you want to put the names into it, right, just as a fun exercise. And again, this is just, we're just having a conversation here. We're not taking favorites. We're not saying this is what they should do. We're just some fans having a random conversation. But if you're able to keep your core minus KC, all right. So do you keep your core, all your wide receivers, and then have to go find a quarterback? Which, look, I'm not saying like we had a good run early in Doran's career with Jacoby and Finley, right? But the last couple we brought in kind of haven't worked out for one reason or another, right? Like yes, health issue. Like no one could have predicted that Grayson McCall was going to have to be medically retired. Like I
right.
You take that out and you figure you're probably not getting that version of Grayson McCall. So that's maybe not a fair, but hey, it's what happened. So you have to take it into consideration. And then you didn't kind of get the Brendan Armstrong that you were hoping, 2021 Brendan Armstrong.
Yeah.
So knowing those things, I think you keep CJ Bailey because he now has a proven track record in the ACC and in your system. So you know those two things are working for you. And then if you do happen to lose KC because you can't afford him or you choose to go elsewhere, or some combination thereof, you still have a really good wide receiver room. So I think that's the argument you make if you have to make one or the other, and you're not just taking quote unquote the face of your franchise with your quarterback.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, it's just so hard to without putting actual numbers on it, but Yeah, I think he's shown. I mean, there's still three games left, which
Yep,
will, should be a little bit of a step up in competition. I mean,
sure.
not much, but Duke's, especially Duke's defense, I think that'll be a big measuring point. But I think you see how he does through that, and if he continues this level of play, I think I don't. There's no reason that you should really look elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I definitely feel like, with the sample size versus the last guy that had, number 16, and I'm not talking Russell Wilson. I think this one's made your decision making a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I think, he's gone out and he's done a little bit of everything, right? He's done everything that you've asked him to do, and that he's gone out and won a road game, which the previous guy didn't. He's gotten we've won because of him, not
Yeah,
because
right.
of other factors, right?
Despite, despite him.
I think more of the wins last year that we won with MJ. I don't think we won because of him, but because we had the defense was balling
Yeah,
out and doing its thing. That
yeah,
you know, so I feel very confident in saying, okay, we can move forward with CJ Bailey as our quarterback. Like, I don't feel like with what you have coming in, the freshman class, you'll still
mhm.
have Lex Thomas. I don't think you have to go out and find a quarterback, in any shape or form. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't profess to know,
Yeah,
quarterbacking position.
but I mean, but if you can keep Bailey and he
Yeah,
takes a little bit of a discount to stay with you,
sure.
I mean that's huge. That's huge because when you do go out into the portal, uh, that's always going to be a big chunk of your. And that goes back to what I was saying. You can't let one player, even a great player, be too much of your overall budget. And I think
Right.
keeping a player is always, not always, but most of the time is going to be cheaper than going out and getting somebody from the portal.
Yeah. And I think you just have to figure out how to make it work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously you don't want to overpay for that
Donate to
position because
Savage Wolves. That's
yeah,
what we do.
I mean that's the short and simple answer, right?
Yeah.
If you want these guys, if you want to keep KC
Yeah.
and CJ and not, have the feeling we have to have this conversation.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to be said. Like, if you can keep CJ Bailey, that'll be the second year in the system. He'll have another year with his wide receivers. There will be that continuity,
Mm-hmm.
that relationship. I don't think that you would see the offense being as stagnant early on like we did, just because there was a feeling out period there.
Yeah.
I think that offense takes another step next year. So you just have to figure out and from listening to different podcasts and message boards, it sounds like CJ is happy here at North Carolina, or in North Carolina, Raleigh
Mm-hmm.
more specifically. But you're going to have those Florida teams coming after him hard. I mean, Miami
Oh
tried
yeah.
to make a late effort, and they're losing Cam Ward, and so, like, who do they have
Yeah.
the next
I
batch?
I don't. Yeah, I don't worry about Miami as much because while Bailey's good, and if he just keeps improving and shows more and more, like I really don't see Miami putting their eggs in that basket. Right? They
Yeah,
went out and spent the most money on a QB and got the best QB this year. It
yeah,
feels like they can
they're
just
doing
do
pretty
that
good with
again.
them too. Yeah,
Yeah, it feels like they would just do that again, more
but
so
who's to
than
say?
get a
But
Bailey.
I mean, I mean, that's I'm not saying Bailey's at Cam Ward's level yet. Like, but like
Yeah,
he's. I mean, he's Bailey's probably top 6 in the ACC,
yeah, easily
maybe
after
top
last
5.
week.
Yeah,
I don't know,
and
maybe,
again,
but
his path
yeah,
keeps going this way. Like,
yeah,
he's not leveled out yet.
hmm
I think he's gonna get better, but there's no reason he can't get better with this crop of, like,
yeah,
skill set players.
yeah,
You got Hollywood, you got Duke, you got Raphael still at running back next year. You got,
mm,
like we already talked about, Grimes. You've got Noah. You've got Keenan Jackson. You've got Terrell Pryor.
Keenan Jackson had some great catches.
Dude, he was so good on like Joe Lee's catch was sick on the 4th down. Like the way he was able to control his body. Like we didn't even talk about those things.
I know.
In the game. It's there's a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. And so, to the point is maybe because look, the grass isn't always greener for these guys. Like again, we just talked about MJ Morris. He's third string at Maryland.
They're pretty bad.
They're pretty bad third string. So there's, and you don't always know what you're going to get when you go to these new schools as far as talent, are you going to fit in culturally? Is the academics going to be good for you? If you're going to Ohio State, it's not going to be warm. Like it's going to be like there's things out there. And so I think that, State has a lot to offer. And I would hope that, he's happy enough to, to around at least another year or so. So
yeah, and if you can keep him,
go ahead.
At, like I said, at kind of a hometown discount, if you will, and not have to spend a lot of your budget, on a QB, that'll be huge. Just because you're gonna need some offensive linemen. I think you're losing at least 3.
Yeah, but you've got some guys in development right now that that you're hoping that you can unleash. Now they're unproven, So you're hoping that works out. Maybe you bring in a veteran guy like you did this year with Zeke at center. That's a super important position because we haven't really talked about like who's going to play center next year. But look, you go out and get some linebackers. Spend all that money.
Linebacker,
go get some guys. Though Bonner played really good on Saturday.
He did. You're going to need at least 1, maybe 2 linebackers, but and you're going to need somebody to replace Davin Van. You've got some younger guys, but I don't think any of them have shown enough to be really feel comfortable.
No.
Not getting anybody.
And that'll be interesting next year. Who gets the number 1 jersey, right? So that'll be something to look forward to. And look, there's still 3 games left in a bowl game, hopefully. So we can talk about all of that when it gets here. Hey, I see you got a nice hat on your head. What you got on your head? What you got? You got a little Coney Gold hat on your head? All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's do a little quick plug for those for James. Look, I only got one tailgate left this weekend, and I decided I wanted to do something a little different. And I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to do some pork belly burnt ends for the tailgate on Saturday. And, I'm gonna go full Coney on it and use that good dust, and then throw some sauces. I'm gonna probably mix a few sauces, and if James listens, maybe he can throw me a suggestion. But I'm excited about doing these pork belly burnt ends. I've used a couple of different recipes before, and so I'm gonna kind of take those but incorporate the Coney Gold products into it. And so I really wanted to go out big this weekend, and I asked the tailgate crew, I said, what do you guys want to do? And they're like, we want your burnt ends again. So I'm gonna go Coney Gold burnt ends for the win, and definitely will be posting some pictures and some videos of it this weekend. So make sure you follow us. And if you haven't already got some of Coney Gold products, like you need to go out there and get you some, because this stuff is so good. I've gotten so many positive feedback from people at the tailgate. And I kind of just keep changing up the wing sauce. I go just wingy sometimes. Yeah. I'll do the Coney Gold, white gold.
They're all
sometimes.
Good. So
they're so good. I want to use the jalapeno one, but my wife won't let me. She thinks it's going to be too spicy. But I've tasted it. It's not spicy. But so I have to listen to the wife. But I kind of set a little to the side for me and put my own a jalapeno spicy on there, and that's just as good too. So. Look, if you haven't gone out, go give them a try. I promise you, it's so good. If you use our code, I believe it's Tuffy 50. Is it Tuffy 15 or just Tuffy? I can't remember. We usually have the. See, this is why we need Leighton.
I want to say it's Tuffy 15.
Yeah, this is why I need Leighton on the podcast.
It's on the Twitter page. Good.
It is on the Twitter page. Yeah. Let me just see. Do we have the? Let me see. Do we have the scrolling banner? We don't. Want fail. But like you said, Michael,
Go Tuffy Talk.
Tuffy Talk. See,
But neither of those.
neither of them. We want you to get the discount, and yet we can't even tell you the discount. But Tuffy Talk, that'll get you 15% off. And if you order more than I think it's like $99 or whatever, you get free shipping. And believe me, like it's worth spending that much money because you get you get everything. And they got the merch, like Michael's wearing his hat. My hat's here somewhere. I had it wearing it over the week. I think it might be in my suitcase still. But go out there, get you some Makoni Gold goodness, and you won't be disappointed. So, all right, Michael, I'm going to give you the last word for tonight. You any closing thoughts that you might have? Anything that we might have missed? Anything that you're looking forward to this week in NC State athletics? I got one before you go there. Happy birthday, Pac 9, Alex Sosa. We love you, buddy. 1-3. He had a birthday this weekend. I had the pleasure of hosting some of those guys at our tailgate. Got to see AMAC on Saturday, and he's doing great and getting ready for his second professional season. And a couple of the guys we had, Ryan Marone and Jacob Duden and Jake Bechtel. Alex wasn't able to join. He was hosting some recruits, so hopefully he was doing his thing and getting some new guys there. And then Ty, meeting Ty, and I forget Ty's last name, and I'm so sorry, Ty. But yeah, it was a good time at the tailgate. So anyway, last word is to you, Michael.
I think this is like the best time when you got football and basketball now going on. You got games. Men's basketball, you get 2 times a week. Women's basketball, you get 2 times a week, and then you get football for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you still get you still get to sprinkle in some soccer, some volleyball. Like this is probably when you have the most awesomeness going on. That's a great point. And speaking of the women, we mentioned earlier they're going to be at Reynolds tomorrow night. Who do they play? I don't even.
The women.
Yeah, who do the women play? Let's see. I got it right here. Oh, East Tennessee State. Oh, they're playing Coach Moore's old school.
Oh.
Right? Wasn't he at East Tennessee State?
Drop a banner on their head. Yeah,
right? Was it East Tennessee? Is that the right one?
No, Chattanooga?
No, Tennessee, Tennessee, Chattanooga. That's the one. They're pretty close to each other. You're right, though. It's not the same school. Thank you.
I told you it's getting late. The same colors, too.
I think it is, yeah.
Blue and yellow, or blue, red, black and yellow, or something.
Yeah. What is East Tennessee State? Wasn't one like the Moccasins, and one like the Buccaneers?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think Chattanooga is the Moccasins, and East Tennessee State is the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I think so. Speaking of the Buccaneers, I know they were playing tonight. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. So we have one more banner raising this week, and then yeah, it'll be exciting.
And then the men play again on Friday night against Presbyterian.
Yeah, I might be going to that game. My uncle reached out to me. I don't know. I got so much tailgating. We got 45 people coming this weekend, so it's. Everybody just wanted to come do it one more time. So, all right, Wolfpack Nation. Hey, well, thanks for staying up late with us. And we'll be back to our normal time slot next week at 8:00. I don't think anything crazy is going on. I could be wrong, but I think we'll be back to our normal airing time. So we appreciate you. Let's get ready. Let's get some more W's this week. We got probably another 4 or 5 events that we want to get W's at, and so hopefully we'll have another successful Victory Monday next week. And I don't know what we'll have out for episodes, but I think we'll come up with some stuff. It's been kind of wild. Everyone's been real busy with all kinds of travel and family things, and so we'll get some episodes out. And I know we owe you guys that, and we appreciate you following us on all the platforms, whether it be here on YouTube or X or TikTok or Instagram. So just make sure you're following us for all kinds of great content, and we love what we do for you guys. But until next time, Wolfpack Nation, go Pack.